Okay, this was a very fun game to watch.
I want some nasty. Are we having fun yet?
All right, guys. So for the most part, when it comes to these videos, I kind of go straight to the point, but I think that we're just going to sit back, relax, and kind of just go through this gradually on what I saw during this game. So these are just my thoughts. I'm not going to do this for every game, obviously, but I am going to do that for this one. So let's go ahead and talk about what I was seeing during the game. And I think the best way to go about this is just to go from player to player to player to player. Some of these players I didn't see much from at all, and I'll be completely real with you, but the guys that we really cared about, I saw quite a bit. So we'll go through every player and see what we come up with, but honestly, it was a pretty nice game to watch. Now I'm gonna be completely real here, all right? When I'm saying, because I'm gonna say this a lot, that the consensus of how people felt about this game, but it's only in the framework of my chat, because as you guys know, we went live. I did a live reaction, and that should be uploaded, so you can go back and watch it if you want. It's like a 3-hour stream. I don't know why you would go back and watch that, but if you wanted to, you can see it. But in my chat, and I'll be really disingenuous if I said that Spurs fans in my chat aren't different than the Spurs fans on Facebook versus the Spurs fans on Instagram versus the Spurs fans on Twitter. It's different communities, believe it or not. It's kind of strange. But with that being said, I'm kind of basing it off of what I saw from the chat and how people felt. So let's start off with Don Barlow. So people were not too hot on Don Barlow, and I was getting quite angry during my stream. Like I did not like that, because I felt as if he played within himself. Like, people did not contextualize him whatsoever in this game. You have to keep in mind they had him at center, but not only that, he's coming from the overtime league. If you don't know, that's an NBA alternative league that was basically created just as another alternative for young guys, and it's from the ages 16 to 19. So he didn't necessarily go against any vets. He wasn't in the G League to get noticed, and he's like the very first player, one of the very first players to be signed by an NBA team from that league. So just keeping all those things in mind, I will say this: I think he played phenomenal. He's going to be a project, but he played great. Played within himself, didn't try to do too much. He didn't look at the coaches and say, look, I deserve to be in here, let me try to show you what I can do. No, he played within himself the entire game. Took good shots, let the game come to him. I loved it. 7 rebounds, 3 for 5 field goal. As we can see here, pretty nice percentage, and that just shows that he did not try to do too much. He had 1 steal. Now the only thing, because there is a flaw here, 6 fouls, and I promise you these came from biting on pump fakes. He was biting on so many pump fakes, and I think that just comes with, you know, age and experience and everything. But I think he'll be fine. But one thing was shocking to me is that he didn't get any blocks. And I swear, guys, when the game was over, I was like, he had 2 blocks, and I said that with confidence. But after looking back, no, they didn't record any blocks, which is so strange to me, because I could have sworn he got a few blocks. But that just speaks volume of his defense, because he did get some good contests in there. So Don Barlow did a-okay. All right, he did fine. Woodard, I don't know. I don't know about Woodard. He only played 14 minutes, 1 for 7. I felt like he was forcing quite a bit, but then there was also opportunities that I think Josh Primo kind of set the stage pretty nicely for him, and he just did not finish. But I was just not crazy about his shot selection at times. But as we can see here, 1 for 7. I didn't see much here. I'll just wait to have more of an opinion in future games, game 2, game 3, and all that good stuff. All right, so Josh Primo. Now, oh my God, there were so many people, quite a few people in the chat that wanted to kind of get at me about Josh Primo and say, hey man, I'm not seeing Josh Primo become a star. Where's this stardom Primo you're talking about? I'm like, oh my God, you guys just want him to fail? Like, oh my goodness. It wasn't a bunch. Okay, I'm being a little hyperbolic, but it was quite a few. It was like, it was enough for me to get irritated, okay? And I guess that would only took 1. But anyways, that's beside the point. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. This is a laid back video, I'm sorry. But Josh Primo. All right, so initially, I will say this. There's 2 things about Josh Primo in this game that I did not like, but I don't necessarily like want to hit him over the head with it. Like, I don't think it's that big a deal. One thing is, I felt as if he was double teamed at the beginning of this game. And that's one excuse that some people have given. Like, the reason why Josh Primo wasn't as aggressive at the beginning is because he was double teamed. I felt as if, the second thing that I had kind of issue with, I felt as if Josh Primo took on more of a facilitation role, because as we know, this upcoming season, more than likely he's going to be the point guard, okay? Or he's going to, at the very least, run point guard quite a bit. So with that being said, this game, it seems like he wanted to kind of get his teammates involved, more so just be a floor general. And I don't think that's his strongest like asset at all as a player. When I look at a lot of point guards in the NBA today, modern point guards don't necessarily have to be straight up facilitators. They just don't. They can be guys that score first and get teammates involved second. And I think that that's what Josh Primo can be if he has to run point guard. But in this game, it felt like that's what he was trying to do. Guys weren't really hitting their shots that much. It was kind of sloppy, but overall, I think that he played well in that role, trying to be a facilitator, but he can bring way more than that. And the stats are not necessarily telling the whole story, because when you see here, you see 7 for 12, 5 for 7 from 3, and you're like, oh my God, he went off. Honestly, he could have put up 30. He could have put up 35 in this game. It was really the fourth quarter where he just kind of turned on the Jets. He could have turned it on at any time, but the entire game, he was just trying to get teammates involved. And it got a little frustrating on my end, knowing that Josh Primo is a 3-level scorer. He can get going at any point in time, and he's only going to get better from here. Obviously still young. He still has to learn, but he can get better from here. But during this game, 1 through 3, like I said, he was more of a facilitator. Fourth quarter is when he just turned it up a notch, and he looked great. So all I'm trying to say is, Josh Primo, I think that the coaching staff, in my opinion, should probably go into the next game and say, Josh, score first, and then you can start facilitating. It makes things much, much easier if he goes in that route, because I do believe he could have just took over. And he kind of showed that in the fourth. It just came out of nowhere, and we're like, oh my God. It actually came after. It didn't come out of nowhere. It actually came after he got frustrated with one of his teammates. He was trying to direct traffic. I couldn't tell the body language. I think he was trying to tell one of his teammates to come give him a screen. They didn't understand, and the play blew up, and he was pretty upset, and he went, approached his teammate, talked to him during a free throw. So he went and talked to them. But after that incident, he just took off. He was like, screw it. So yeah, big ups to Josh Primo there. He was amazing in the fourth. Blake Wesley. Now this is one that I think a lot of people are talking about. As you can see, 20 points, 7 for 16, 3 for 4, 3-point. So one thing I did not mention, him and Josh Primo played off each other exceptionally well. Like, it was a really beautiful thing to see. But Blake Wesley, man, I knew he was fast. I knew he was athletic. Man, he is very fast. Like, really, really fast. His athleticism is kind of ridiculous. He just kind of has to hone in on it, get a little bit more muscle so he can finish some of the drives that he wanted to finish. But man, he is quick. There's a lot of promise there. Now, this is something that I was kind of shocked by, which I don't know how I feel about. Apparently, Blake Wesley told Noah that he sees himself as a point guard, and that means getting others involved first and second scoring. I guess that's great. That's fine. That's cool. And during this game, you kind of saw that. You saw Blake Wesley trying to facilitate a little bit more. And as we already went over, Josh Primo has said that about Blake Wesley as well, is that Blake Wesley typically, he was shocked by the fact that he can get others involved, even going at the speed that he goes at. So, but yeah, anyways, Blake Wesley, I'm getting besides myself. He played fine. He played great. It was a good showing, especially in the first half. He had a few that he threw up that just were pretty ugly, where it just got blocked out of the gym. But look, he's young, he's still learning, it's fine. But yeah, he played really well. He was probably the MVP that people will say, and the only reason that Josh Primo wouldn't get it, because most of his points came in the fourth quarter. All right, so let's go with Malachi Branham. Now, a lot of the chat was kind of dogging on him a little bit, like, he doesn't look that good. He looks like garbage right now. It's like, bro, it's the first summer league game. Give the man a break, okay? He's a kid. Give them a break. But I will say this: he started off slow, but in the second half, he kind of got going a little bit. he definitely has a knack for getting to his spots, and that's something you're definitely going to need. Okay, once he hones in on this, he gets even better. This is something you're really going to need when you're going against really tough defenses where there's just nothing you can do. There's no shot you can get off. A guy that can kind of get to his spots and doesn't need a ton of room, because that's one thing I saw. He did not need a ton of room to get that shot off. That's going to really come in handy, but he has a really nice shooting touch. Fundamentals are very solid, but in this game you can even tell he was getting a little frustrated, but he got going a little bit in the second half, so he was fine. Nothing more than that as far as defense. It's exactly what I expected. It was okay. He's not a great defender, but he has the frame that he can become a better defender, and he works exceptionally hard. And we talked about stories on Malachi Branham, and I got more videos on Malachi Branham coming out, so you'll see that his history is great. Okay, he has great work ethic, so he'll get better with defense. It's only first summer league game. It's all good. Carlton, not much there. He played some good defense in the paint from what I recall, but it wasn't much there. Only 8 minutes as well. Didn't see anything from this player. Okay, I'll be honest. I don't know. Nothing. If you guys have an evaluation or like you analyze anything from, please do. I didn't see much. I wasn't too impressed, to be honest. Darius Days. Now, he actually reminded me a lot of Barlow in this game, because I'll be honest, I already told you guys to look out for Darius Days because I really like Darius Days. And in this game, he looked like a seasoned veteran. He played within himself. He didn't do too much. The biggest weakness that he has is going to be on the defensive end, just because he has so much weight till sometimes it seems as if he can't move his feet very well, especially if he has to guard a wing or a guard. It just looks kind of ugly because it looks kind of wompy. And then he's not necessarily big enough to stay there with, a center necessarily. So he's in a really weird spot. But I think if you team him up, hopefully if he, able to stay with the Spurs, you team him up with a Sohan or something, maybe it'll help him a little bit. But as it stands in this game, he was out there with Barlow a time or two, but defensively, not much there. But everything else, I thought he was really, really good. 7 rebounds, 5 for 7 field goals, and like I said, these were all. It wasn't him creating his own shot or anything. It was either Josh Primo, Blake Wesley, kind of helping him out. But I will tell you, he did a great job. He did a really good job of taking smart shots. He was very smart. He looked like a Spurs player. That's all I can say. He looked like a Spur. So Darius Days, he was exactly who I thought he was. Hall, okay, quite a few people in the chat did not like Hall. They were really angry at Hall. I didn't see a lot. I felt as if he kind of played within himself. Okay, he was just missing shots. He played within himself. But I don't know. It wasn't much there. I would have to watch him a few more times for me to get excited. I know we did a video on him before, and I said that he's very skilled. He's a very skillful guard. He kind of reminds me of Sean Livingston in a way. Can do a little bit, everything, especially on the offensive end, but it wasn't much there, guys. I can't even talk about it. Edwards didn't play. Basically didn't play. DJ Stewart, it wasn't enough there for me to really get too hype about, to be honest with you, even though he played 22 minutes. So the highlights of this game, I think what we can take from it is Don Barlow, at the very least, okay, he is a good role player. Like his floor right now is a good role player who's going to play within himself and does whatever the team needs. He doesn't seem to have a huge ego where he was trying to show what he's made of. And maybe that's due to the fact that he already has a contract, but I don't think so. I feel like that's just him. Primo, he could have took over at any point in this game, but it seemed as if the coaching staff more so wanted him to just kind of go out there and, facilitate for his teammates. Blake Wesley, great job. He did really great. It's just a matter of, hey, he fumbled it just a little bit. Okay, it was quite a few times where they blocked it pretty easily. Also, I just want to point this out. Josh Primo is only like a few months older than Wesley, so I didn't really understand. Some people in the chat were like, wow, you think Primo is going to be good? Wow, Blake Wesley is going to be better. And it's like, if he is cool, like I'm happy with it. Good, okay? I'm a Spurs fan. I don't care who's the best player, okay? I can only like make predictions of who I think is going to be the best. But if that is the case, guys, they're only a few months apart from each other. They're like the same age, like literally the same age. Wesley was born in March, and I think Primo's December. He's just like a few months older than him. It's utterly ridiculous, some of the things I see. But that's besides the point. Malachi Branham started off slow but found his shot, and I think he has the best shooting stroke of anyone on this summer league team. And then just jumping all the way down, Darius Days is who I thought he was. Played within himself, did a good job. I absolutely loved him during this game. So that's my breakdown of what I saw during this game. I know it's not like super fun because I'm not having a bunch of stuff on the screen or anything. And also I want to point this out. Travers for the Cleveland Cavaliers, this dude had 5 blocks, man. And I feel like most of the blocks were on Malachi Branham. Not Malachi, I'm sorry, Blake Wesley. I feel like most of them were on Blake Wesley. I don't know. I could be wrong. But 5? He wasn't that impressive. I mean, he looked good, but 5? Come on, man. No. But yeah, also Spurs got to work on their free throw percentage. 69 isn't great. 70, I guess right at 70. That's not great. But yeah, anyways, guys, I'm rambling now. I really enjoyed this game. I thought it was a good game, good showing for the guys. Everybody played pretty well who I expected to play well. And yeah, it was just a matter of shaking some of the rust off. Not everyone can come in and look like a top 4, top 3, or the first overall draft pick. So it just doesn't work like that. You know, sometimes you have to kind of get within your rhythm. But Blake Wesley, he came in right out the gate, like trying to attack, and I liked that. So we'll see how that goes. But anyways, I'll get with you guys later, man. If you want to support the channel, only $2 a month, Patreon and YouTube links below. Until next time, deuces.